One of the larger questions which faces the entity who claims that the Creator is one universal thing, that God is love, is the question of evil. How can it possibly exist if the universe is all one thing? Here are some thoughts from the space contacts we have on this. There are groups who express themselves in ways that were never conceived by the original thought. The original thought, however, provides for no limits on expression. It is possible, therefore, for any of the Creator's children to express themselves in any manner that they desire. For this reason, throughout the creation, there are individuals and groups expressing themselves in infinite numbers of ways. You, at your present state of understanding, consider some of the expressions to be evil. We consider them to be expressions. We find that, for our purpose, certain expressions to be of a more beneficial nature to our own enjoyment than others. There are, however, expressions of an infinite quality and an infinite quantity occurring throughout the creation. We attempt to serve those within the creation who desire our service. They desire our service because they are interested in our concept of truth. We believe that our concept of truth is correct. In our understanding, we know that our concept is correct. There are many who would disagree with what we understand. This is their privilege. They who do not desire our service, we would freely serve them in any way that we could. However, they do not desire this. Therefore, we do not serve. Evil does not exist. It was not created in the beginning by the Creator. It has been created in the mind of men. It has been created in the mind of man and can only be gotten rid of by man through a change in his thinking. For evil is not of my creation, O man. Evil is brought about by those who falter on the way to me. There are many myriads of populations throughout the cosmos. Many of them are extremely advanced, and a few of them are not only advanced, but also of a nature which you might call evil. The Creator is at the end of your path. Your faith is far stronger, if you indeed realize it, than any evil. Remember this, my friends. It is completely within your power, through meditation, to gain the love of the Creator that conquers all lack, limitation, and pain. But, my friends, be aware that the only true nature of evil is separation from the Creator. It cannot touch you if you maintain your contact with the One who is all. Nothing from the outside may come into harm. From the universe of truth and understanding you may show love and light upon all who come into your view. Do not fear, my friends. There is nothing to fear. Never waste time in fear, or in hatred, or in anger, for it is only another opportunity at such a time to experience and to demonstrate the love and the light of the infinite Creator. There is one last thing to be said about evil and our perception of it. Here is one way of designating in your own consciousness who is of Christ force and who is of Antichrist force. You will see many who will cry out that there is no God. Come and fight, shoulder to shoulder with me, for peace and love and brotherhood equally for all men for all time. This is truly one who is of the Christ force. Yet you will see others who profess to be of God, speaking words of God, who will say that some are to be saved and some are to be damned. These you will know are not of the Christ light, for the Christ light speaks of brotherhood first and foremost, and will defend the rights of all men everywhere to share equally with their brothers. It is not just evil in the abstract, but all sorts of troubles of every kind that seem to surround us in the physical plane. Who my friend Israel, a practitioner of white magical arts, says, early in life, an impenetrable barrier is erected within the psyche itself. A barrier of inhibition is built up between the unconscious and the conscious thinking self. A barrier of prejudices, false moral concepts, infantile notions, pride, and egotism. So profound is this armored barrier that our best attempts to get past it, around it, or through it are utterly impotent. We become cut off from our roots. There is a reason for this. According to the Confederation, every person creates their own world, whether they want to be or not. They are creators. We create our own situations, surroundings. The conditions that we find ourselves in today are a result of past thinking. That is why it is so necessary, so very, very necessary to weed these things out of what you call the subconscious. On this subject, those of Hatan say, you are aware upon your planet of night. This darkness is real to you within the illusion that you know as life. There is a simple physical way in which you can intellectually imagine that darkness to be only a local phenomena. The method of that understanding is to imagine that you are observing the solar system from the standpoint of the object that you call your sun. From the standpoint of your sun, there is no night. There is no darkness. There is no lack. There is no limitation. There is only light, an enormously wasteful amount of energy, infinite, self-perpetuating, a type of light that expresses itself in all directions with all of its heart and strength. The concept of darkness, lack, limitation, or any pity restriction of any kind is quite foreign to the point of view of the inhabitant of the sun. It is for this reason, my friends, that we often describe to you the love and the light as being like sunlight or some form of light. This light, this phenomena called light, is a spiritual phenomena. It is one of the two building blocks of our entire universe. Light, with no limitation of any kind, vastly energetic and infinite in its capacity, is the basis for all that is in a physical sense. The shaping, the creating, the molding force is the consciousness, the thought which we call love. Love shapes light into the vibration that we know as the physical world. The Creator's love is completely, down to the very smallest detail, a spiritual thing. The lack, the limitation, the darkness, and the want is the creation of that most chief of the Father's creation, that being mankind. Mankind is a creator, even as his Creator wished for him to be. He has created, and those things which he desires are things which he does not truly desire. He has invented a great many different ways to experience lack, limitation, and want. This, my friends, is only true thought from the point of view of the dweller within the illusion who rotates with the planet and sees the sun go down and disappear. A simple shift in point of view from the point of view of the planet to the point of view of the source of light for the planet will enable the understanding of the conditions of the planet upon which you now enjoy the physical existence to come into much clearer focus. We are aware that this is a far more generalized statement than you requested. But, however, there are many things which do not have the spiritual answers themselves, but deal only with the illusion. The ability to change one's point of view will often banish a question and replace the question with understanding simply by the realization of a shift in point of view. So the basic distinction which separates the experience of wealth from that of poverty is the inner orientation either towards a state of love and oneness with the Creator and man, yielding abundance, or towards desires and emotions within the physical illusion, which yields lack and limitation. Here our contactees say this in two more ways. Earthman must learn to distinguish between love and emotion. Emotion is a desire. Love is a state of consciousness where you realize a state of oneness with creation and all mankind. And you see all mankind in a consciousness of love. Not a possessive love, nothing to do with sex, not a state of desiring, but a state of giving, a wanting for another that which is for the highest good, and rejoicing in them receiving, with no thoughts for self. There was a man upon your planet who had great wealth, and in this wealth he saw much power. For his fellow man would eagerly do his bidding to share part of his wealth, and for this reason many of those who dwell upon this planet, known to you as Earth, require vast quantities of material wealth, and therefore acquire what they consider to be much power. What is not understood by these men is that in acquiring this wealth, and attempting to possess much power through this wealth, they are giving up an infinite amount of power for that which is in actuality no power at all. The man of which I spoke, who had much wealth, used it to satisfy his desires, and his desires were for things which he thought that he wanted and needed. For he saw in his wealth not only a great happiness which would come from possessing those things which he desired and having dominion over all of his fellow man about him, but also great security in that he would need nor want for the rest of his life. And therefore he coveted greatly his accumulation of wealth. And he had at his command everything that he desired and great status. But he lacked one thing. He lacked love, for it was not given to him by those about him, and this he did not understand. And he became aware of his need for this experience, that he called love, and he set about to discover how to obtain it. And he questioned those about him, and asked them why he was not given love. And they could not answer, for they did not know. And he went to a wise man and offered to pay him much of his wealth, if he could but tell him how to obtain love. And the wise man gave unto the rich man all that he possessed, for all that he possessed was but a pitiful small amount. And the man of great wealth accepted it, for he had long ago resolved never to turn down a gift. And he left the wise man, and went to his home, and pondered this gift, leaving the wise man penniless, for he had not paid the wise man, for the wise man had not told him how to find love. And as the days passed, he returned to the wise man, for he could not understand why he had been given all that was possessed by the one who was said to be so wise. And when he asked him, he was answered by the wise man, who said, "It is because I have a great love for you, and you desire wealth. Therefore, I give you that which I have to add to your riches, for this is what you desire." And at that moment, the man of great wealth looked at the wise man and said, "And in turn, I, for the first time, know love." And he gave to the wise man great wealth, and in doing so he felt an even greater love. For the first time, he had learned the truth of the Creator's gifts to his children. And this man was very fortunate, for he had been able to discover a way of generating love. And yet, man on earth continues to seek within his material illusion, continues to seek that which is of no real value, for he lacks faith. He stands upon the surface of this planet and experiences all of the gifts of his Creator. He breathes the air and smells the fragrance of the flowers, and is in the company of his fellow man, and finds many things provided for him. And yet he does not understand. He does not have faith that within this creation he is supplied. And due to this lack of faith, he finds hardships, for he does not understand faith. Therefore, man, in many instances, does not seek the knowledge of the wise man, but he seeks a security and a power that is not secure and is not power.